The moment you step out of your home today, an unseen battlefield stretches before you. Every step you take carries weight, not only in the physical world, but in the spiritual realm. Moses knew the power of divine alignment, and Psalm 121 reveals the secret of walking shielded under God's authority. What if the very first action, the first word, the first breath you take as you leave your home determines whether blessing or burden will dominate your day? Can you feel it? The quiet pressure, the hidden eyes watching, the invisible attacks positioned before your awareness. This is no ordinary morning. The moments you ignore are the moments that decide whether you stumble into danger or walk in divine protection. Your spirit is vulnerable, but it does not have to be unprotected. Awareness is the first shield, alignment the second, and intentional action the key that unlocks God's coverage over your life. Many wake and move through routine, unaware that the smallest misalignment, the wrong thought, the careless word, can allow fear, doubt, and hidden opposition to influence outcomes. Moses' authority was never in position by chance. It was in obedience, in alignment with the unseen, and in the timing of God's provision. Psalm 121 is not just a reading. It is a declaration, a spiritual activation, a guard placed before your steps. Today, your first word matters, your prayer matters, the alignment of your heart matters. What you choose now will ripple across every encounter, every decision, every challenge waiting in the hours ahead. Will you walk as unprotected, risking spiritual exposure, or will you rise with deliberate awareness, armed with God's authority, and shielded by divine guidance? By the end of this video, you will understand how to activate your protection before the first challenge hits, how to perceive threats hidden in ordinary moments, and how to respond with authority rather than fear. You will be invited to write a prophetic phrase declaring your shield, and to commit to stepping into the day under God's protection. Each principle revealed here is a key, unlocking not just the safety of the hours ahead, but the empowerment of your spirit. Your turning point begins the moment you choose alignment over neglect, awareness over ignorance, and intentional action over passivity. Your steps will be guided, your spirit defended, and your heart confident, because today you do not walk alone. You woke up this morning, but do you truly understand the significance of being alive? Existence is not merely the act of breathing. It is the evidence that God has intervened, that protection has already been stationed around you. Moses did not survive by accident. Every step, every breath he took was under divine guidance. Psalm 121 reminds us that even before we take action, before we speak our first words, a shield surrounds the faithful. Yet most walk blindly, unaware that life itself is the first sign of mercy, and that the spirit is unprotected without conscious alignment. How many mornings have you risen, moving through the motions, unaware of the unseen forces poised to influence your path? Fear silently watches, doubt crouches in hidden corners, and opportunities for blessing are missed because awareness was absent. To exist is not enough. You must recognize the battlefield around you. Every conversation, every decision, every thought has weight in the spiritual realm. Moses understood that alignment with God is what differentiates those who prosper from those who remain vulnerable. The first words you speak, the prayers you whisper, the thoughts you hold, these are the tools that either fortify your spirit or leave it exposed. Awareness of the invisible is the first step toward protection, but it requires courage to face reality. You are alive, but not automatically shielded. Anxiety, hidden pressures, and spiritual opposition surround you, yet they are powerless against those who intentionally align with God's authority. Imagine the world you enter when you walk in conscious alignment. Fear is replaced by confidence, vulnerability by preparedness, uncertainty by clarity. Moses' example shows that life itself is a miracle of intervention, but to fully benefit, you must act. Your spirit can be fortified from the moment you acknowledge your existence as purposeful, as protected by God's unseen hand. The question now is not whether God is watching, you exist, therefore he has already acted, but whether you are aligned, whether you consciously embrace the protection that is offered. Will you step into the day as unshielded, or will you rise fully aware, commanding your first words to activate divine coverage and claim authority over your steps? The moment you realize that existence is a gift wrapped in responsibility, your spiritual shield begins to form. Awareness alone is not enough. Intentional action is required. Psalm 121 is more than a psalm. It is the blueprint for protection, the divine protocol for activating your defense. Today, your life, your decisions, your first words all matter. Walk in alignment. Recognize that your existence is the evidence of protection already in motion. Choose to step fully conscious, fully armed with God's authority, and your spirit will not be moved by the unseen challenges that await. Therefore, I perceive the threat. Danger hides in ordinary moments. Even in moments that seem ordinary, the unseen world stirs, and danger often hides in plain sight. Psalm 121 reveals that subtle attacks strike when attention drifts, when the mind assumes safety in routine. Moses understood this principle. The first moments of awareness, the first words spoken, the alignment of thought and spirit determine whether blessing or opposition governs the hours ahead. Most people leave home blind to the spiritual battlefield. They move through familiar streets, repeat habitual routines, and assume that normalcy protects them. But the truth is, it is precisely in what feels ordinary that hidden forces position themselves to influence outcomes, to subtly sway your path away from God's intended favor. Your spirit is sensitive to alignment, yet human effort alone cannot detect these invisible pressures. Anxiety, uncertainty, and the faint, almost imperceptible tug of spiritual opposition can shape your decisions without you even realizing it. The danger of inaction is enormous. Every overlooked thought, every idle word, every prayer left unspoken opens a doorway for hidden challenges. Moses' obedience and attention to the first word illustrate a principle. Protection is activated not after danger appears, but before it arrives. The alignment of your heart, mind, and words serves as a shield, turning what would be hidden attacks into opportunities for divine demonstration. Imagine the weight of unseen influences acting in your day without your awareness. How many times have opportunities passed, blessings delayed, or fear crept in simply because vigilance was absent? Psalm 121 is a guide to discernment, reminding us that even the most mundane actions can carry immense spiritual consequence. Awareness alone is not sufficient. Perception must be paired with intentional spiritual alignment. Your first actions, your first words, and the posture of your heart create a framework of protection that guides every step. The unseen can feel overwhelming, but clarity arises when you perceive the threat and respond with divine alignment. Moses' life demonstrates that success in the spiritual realm is not accidental. It is a product of deliberate awareness and obedient action. Today, as you prepare to leave your home, recognize the ordinary as the extraordinary battlefield. Fear is real, but so is the authority God provides when you intentionally align your spirit. By seeing the threat, acknowledging it, and activating your first word protection, you take the first step in controlling what otherwise remains hidden and uncontrolled. Your task now is to perceive, not panic, to align, not ignore. Every ordinary moment carries potential peril or promise, and Psalm 121 is the blueprint to distinguish which is which. By the end of this day, your awareness of the hidden will empower you. Your words will establish your shield, and your spirit will navigate the unseen with confidence and authority. The first words you speak each day carry authority far beyond what you realize. Moses understood this principle. One misaligned word, one unguarded thought, or one idle moment can open doors for unseen opposition. Psalm 121 teaches that intentional speech and alignment act as a spiritual shield, determining the tone and protection of every hour. When you fail to recognize your exposure, you leave your spirit vulnerable, allowing fear, doubt, and invisible forces to influence outcomes without resistance. Most people underestimate the power of their first words, assuming that speech is merely communication, not activation. Imagine leaving your home, stepping into what feels normal, but the unseen realm is already responding to the energy of your words. Misalignment is costly. Fear, anxiety, and spiritual interference creep in silently, shaping your circumstances before you even notice. Moses' example demonstrates that neglecting first alignment increases exposure. Obedience and intentional speech secure protection and blessing. Psalm 121 is not passive guidance, it is active defense. It establishes a framework in which your spirit, your words, and your actions carry authority against hidden opposition. Exposure is not always dramatic. It is subtle, cumulative, and often unnoticed until consequences appear. Decisions feel heavier, opportunities slip past, and internal unrest builds. Recognizing your vulnerability is the turning point. Awareness generates accountability, and accountability demands action. The power of the first word is not symbolic. It is practical. Speaking with alignment, invoking divine authority, and claiming protection activates your spiritual shield immediately. Every word not aligned with God's will risks surrendering ground before the day has truly begun. Today, you have a choice. Remain exposed, repeating yesterday's mistakes, or recognize your authority and intentionally speak with divine alignment. Moses' life shows that those who step into awareness, acknowledging exposure and acting decisively, shift from vulnerability to protection. Psalm 121 reminds you that this power is available, not in theory, not in ritual, but through intentional first words, first thoughts, and first acts. Recognize your exposure and take action. Your spiritual authority is in your hands, but it only functions when you acknowledge the battlefield, understand the stakes, and speak with deliberate alignment. This moment is your turning point. Exposure recognized is protection activated. Fear acknowledged is obedience empowered. Today, your first words can shield your spirit and define the course of your hours. Psalm 121 is your guide. Moses' example, your proof. Align, speak, and claim your authority. Now is the moment to lift your eyes and intentionally cry out for protection. Moses never underestimated the power of activating divine coverage before stepping into challenges. And Psalm 121 instructs that protection is established not after the threat, but before it arrives. Your first words, your prayers, and the posture of your heart serve as the activation sequence for spiritual shielding. The unseen world responds to alignment. Delays in seeking protection allow vulnerability to accumulate, and the consequences grow with every unguarded step. Consider the subtle pressures surrounding you right now. Fear, doubt, and spiritual interference lurk in the ordinary, ready to influence decisions and outcomes. Without the shield, your mind and spirit become terrain for unseen forces. But when you intentionally cry out, when you declare alignment with God, when you invoke His authority in the first words of your day, you transform vulnerability into safety. Moses exemplified this principle, demonstrating that the act of seeking divine protection is not passive. It is a legal, spiritual claim that establishes boundaries no enemy can penetrate. The first act of intentional prayer changes everything. Anxiety transforms into alertness, fear into empowerment. Lifting your eyes, speaking words of alignment, declaring your intention to follow God's guidance. These are not symbolic gestures. They are the spiritual mechanics of protection. This is the time to engage, to assert authority over your hours, to speak your first words with consciousness of their weight. Psalm 121 guides you to anchor protection before threats manifest, creating a shield that precedes every action. Your spirit has been exposed, but recognition is power. The act of crying out is a declaration. I acknowledge the battlefield. I claim divine authority. I activate protection over my mind, my words, and my path. This is also the moment for you to participate actively in your spiritual journey. Write a prophetic phrase, sealing your intent and activating the shield. Let your first words today be deliberate, a command of protection, a signal that your spirit is aligned with God's authority. By the time you step into the day, the shield is established. Invisible forces are blocked, spiritual authority is claimed, and your alignment positions you to navigate challenges with clarity and confidence. Moses' life demonstrates that those who cry out early with intentionality step into every challenge under divine cover. This is the turning point where awareness becomes action, vulnerability becomes protection, and the first words of the day determine the flow of every moment to follow. Fulfillment comes when your spirit is aligned, shielded, and ready to move under God's authority. Moses' life demonstrates that protection is not passive. It is activated through obedience, intentional speech, and alignment with divine principles. Psalm 121 serves as a blueprint for lifelong coverage, guiding each step from the moment your eyes open to every action throughout the day. Today, the first words you speak, the first prayers you declare, and the alignment of your heart with God's will define not just your morning, but the entire trajectory of your hours. When you recognize your exposure, cry out for protection, and activate your spiritual shield, peace replaces anxiety, confidence replaces hesitation, and readiness replaces fear. This is the fulfillment of being aligned, no longer at the mercy of unseen forces, but walking intentionally under God's oversight. Every moment is fortified, every decision informed, every action enveloped in divine authority. Moses understood this principle. His first acts, first words, and intentional alignment shaped outcomes, secured blessings, and shielded his journey from unseen opposition. Now it is your turn to claim this same authority. Feel the confidence in knowing that protection is established, yet remain active in your alignment. Speak your words deliberately, live consciously, and allow the shield to guide your steps. The process is both spiritual and practical. Awareness, intentional prayer, and adherence to God's guidance form the foundation of a protected life. Use this moment to write a prophetic phrase, declaring your alignment and sealing your spiritual authority. As a final affirmation, participate in the communal act of faith by lifting your voice in prayer. Conclude with the Lord's Prayer, acknowledging God as your source, protector, and guide. Let this prayer seal the shield, mark your day with purpose, and empower your spirit to act decisively. Once you have done this, commit to living under this protection, knowing that the alignment of your first words, your heart, and your actions ensures that every step forward is guarded, intentional, and fruitful. This is the spiritual fulfillment you have been called to, shielded, empowered, confident, and ready to walk under God's authority. Your day, your choices, and your spirit are now aligned. Moses' example and Psalm 121 remind you that protection, blessing, and fulfillment are not coincidences. They are the result of intentional alignment, activated through faith and the first words you declare each day.